And there was a perfect guy sitting out there. I mean, he got scooped up recently, but you could have had Bruce Bochy.
Exactly.
And that's a guy, no excuses. He's done the analytical thing, but he has a gut feel. He's a real manager. Aaron Boone's not. Aaron Boone is a robotic piece for the front office to be the manager. That's what he is. He's a robot. He has no feelings. He has no gut feel.
Aaron, look sort of happy. You won. Look happy.
All he does is he stands in the dugout and chews on his bubble gum. And yells, "My guys are savages in the box." Yeah, savages.
Or this famous when he hit the table. I'm like, oh, real ballsy.
We're better
Aaron.
than this. Boom.
Real ballsy, Boone. Like, oh my God, show some freaking emotion. Show some passion. That wasn't passion. That was like he met with an acting coach beforehand and said.
That was frustration, and it was well-versed.
I'm like, they're like, it's like he met with an acting coach beforehand and said, okay, Aaron, you got to look somewhat angry. You got to look human. So just hit the table or something during the press conference. So you actually look human. And it's a big chance that Boone is going to stay. And you know who I think should replace him if they got a new manager? Joe Maddon.
I don't hate it.
I think Joe Maddon, he's an old type of baseball guy. I think he'd be great.
Can we go full circle? You know who really should replace him?
Who?
Joe Girardi.
I would not be totally opposed to that.
I'm being funny, but you need someone who knows what it's like, who's been there in the big spot, and Joe Maddon's been there. I brought up Bruce Bochy. He's now the Rangers manager. Or pluck from a team that's been around. Like my favorite hire of last offseason wasn't even Buck Showalter. It was Bob Melvin going to the Padres. Because I think Bob Melvin's a tremendous manager.
You need an old school baseball guy, Rick.
You need a guy who's willing to adapt to the analytics, but at the same time has a gut. Like Dusty Baker, and I'm going to keep saying Dusty because the Astros are the ones who beat the Yankees. Dusty understands the analytics, but he also went with his gut when it came to the bullpen, when it came to to align his rotation. Like, he could have easily pitched Lance McCullers in Game 3. Well, Lance McCullers has an elbow issue, so we'll give him an extra day. Christian Javier, who threw seven no-hit innings against the Yankees during the regular season, we'll start him against Garrett Cole. And it's just like, whoa, okay.
That's brilliant.
Old. But it worked.
And you know what? I will say this about Boone and Dusty Baker. After Game 4, Boone did go over to the Astros clubhouse to congratulate Dusty Baker. I'll be honest, that was classy. That was very classy.
I think he was searching to see if they were banging trash cans again.
I'm just here to see if you're banging the trash cans. But but you know what? It's not just Boone that's the problem. Oh, guess where we're going, Rifkin?
Not to the World Series.
Okay, that was a good one. I'll give you that. Cashman. Why is this guy still GM? Why? And if anyone tries to defend him there, I will rip you apart. I seriously will. It's just, this guy is just...
It's overdue to move on.
It's overdue to move on. And if you pull out he gave us 3 World Series, so I guess he's worth keeping. Okay, you know what? I crunched the numbers.
They haven't won since 2009.
Yes, and you know what? Let me give you Cashman defenders, which all 3 of you, and they're probably all his family. Let me give you some stats here. Yes, 3 World Series wins. 98, 99. No, wait. No, he wasn't there at 98. My mistake. 99, 2000, 2009. 2 American League pennants. 5 with the 3 World Series and the 2 lost World Series in 2001, 2003. ALCS eliminations, 6. ALDS eliminations, 7. 1-game playoff eliminations, 2. Missed playoff seasons, 4. May I say anything less?
Here's the last thing you should say.
What?
They haven't made the World Series since appearing in 09.
But you know what? It's not just 2009. It's even if you go back before 2009. Like, what did you produce? 2001, you lose the World Series to the Diamondbacks. 2002, you get eliminated in the LDS. 2003, you lose the World Series. 2004, 3-0, 3-0 lead in the ALCS blown. 2005, LDS elimination. 2006, LDS elimination. 2007, LDS elimination. 2008, you missed the playoffs. 2009, you win the World Series. 2010,
Bought the World Series.
Okay, they did build a really good team that year with Sabathia and Burnett and Teixeira. But then 2010, LCS elimination. 2011, LDS elimination. 2012, LCS elimination. 2013, then 14, you missed the playoffs. 15, 1-game elimination, playoff elimination. 1-game playoff elimination. 16, you missed the playoffs. 17, you lose the LCS. 18, LDS elimination. 19, LCS elimination. 20, LDS elimination. 21, 1-game playoff elimination. 2022, LCS elimination. How does that record sound, Rifkin?
Well, I think if you go to before 09, I know he had the title of GM, but it was George's team. Like George had the final say over everything.
George Steinbrenner, God
and
rest
if you go
his soul.
up until, unfortunately, when George passed the team on to his kids.
It's basically become Cashman's team.
Right, because in a sense, like, I don't know how much that Hal wants to win. I don't know if he has the same drive as his dad did. I have no idea, because this team, let me be totally frank. If George was alive after the one game playoff against the Red Sox last year,
Boone be gone.
stuff would have been blown up on this team. There would be guys who wouldn't be there. There'd be guys who, by the way, Aroldis Chapman going on the IL because of a tattoo. George wouldn't have put up with that.
He would say, put some Neosporin on and suck it up.
No, he'd probably just be like, no, you're not coming back.
That was like the dumbest IL placement ever.
And then he doesn't show up for his workout. Ridiculous. So things like that happen, and it's a bad look for ownership. It's a bad look for Cashman. It's a bad look for everyone involved. But at some point, I'm going to equate this to football for just a second.
Go ahead.
Within the next couple of years, we're going to realize, we're going to witness the retirement of Bill Belichick.
Whenever that may be.
Whenever that may be. And he has his call, probably, to do it whenever he wants. I don't know if Brian Cashman could have that same kind of gall, because they haven't won a world. The goal of the New York Yankees every year is to win the World Series. Let me rephrase it. The goal of the New York Yankees every year should be to win the World Series. I don't know if it really is. They have maintained relevancy because the American League, a lot of teams don't spend the kind of money the Yankees do.
They don't.
Well, guess what? Teams have caught up to the Yankees. The Astros have surpassed the Yankees. And there are other teams coming. I brought up Toronto before. The Rays are always good. Be the New York Yankees. Spend the money. Do what you got to do, Cashman. How to make them relevant? But right now, they're not.
Because you know what it is, and you said it on the podcast the other day, Mike, and you said it brilliantly.
I say
You
most things brilliantly.
you say the big problem is complacency.
Yep.
And because you know what it is, Hal does not want to let go of Cashman because Hal was George's boy, and I guarantee you Hal is thinking, oh, but Cashman gave me 3 World Series rings. Okay, actually, no, he gave you 1 World Series ring. The other 2 from when you were your dad. I got to talk about Hal in a second. But anyway, I think at this moment, Hal Steinbrenner, he's got to do the right thing. And that right thing is he's got to call Brian Cashman into his office. And listen, you got to be civil. Just say, Brian, I'm sorry, this is not working out. We
Thank you for
appreciate
your service.
Thank you for your service to our organization. We appreciate everything you've done for your father, for my father, for me, for my brother. But this is
Or change his role, make him an advisor to the GM or something. But don't let him be the reason. Don't let him be the guy making these moves, because
like make him like a consultant.
yeah, like there are guys on this roster, and we'll talk about that, I know, in a minute or so. But there are guys on this roster who either A, haven't lived up to their hype, or B, I don't know if they're big. Not that they're not big league players, but they're not New York Yankees.
Because here's the thing with Hal, of how he's handling the situation right now. His father should be rolling over in his grave right now, because when George saw issues, he fixed them. I'll give you a couple examples. After the Yankees got swept in the 1976 World Series to the Cincinnati Reds, he went down there to Billy Martin in the clubhouse and he said, Billy, we're doing things my way right now. I'm in charge. And he ended up getting Reggie Jackson, which George wanted, Billy Martin didn't. And what happened? They won 77, 78. And then after the Yankees lost the 1995 ALDS, they asked him, the reporters and media asked him, well, George, what's going to happen now to the franchise? What's next year looking like? He goes, big changes are coming, starting tomorrow. And what happened? Buck Showalter got fired. Gene Michael went bye-bye. Then you brought in Joe Torre and Bob Watson. And what happened after that? 96, 98, 99, 2000. 4 World Series wins in 5 years. And this was to a lesser extent because the next year it didn't go successful. After they lost the 2001 World Series to the Diamondbacks, George Steinbrenner said to Brian Cashman, we did it your way. Now we're going to do it my way. And that didn't work the next year because they got eliminated in the LDS. But George Steinbrenner knew when they had a season that he's like, you know what? We got to fix this. And changes got to be made. Like, Mike, I know I've told this story on the podcast before. I don't know if I ever told you this story, though. I think I might have. If anyone listens to the podcast, I've told this story like a million times, but my dad played golf with Roy White one time at a golf outing, and Roy White said to my dad, and this is when Hank Steinbrenner was still alive, he said to my dad, when George was alive, he would spend the money to build teams. If the veteran players, they wanted, if their contract was up, George would say, okay, what do you want? He goes, I want more. I want a raise. George would go, done. No questions asked. But he said the boys now, they run it like because this is when Hank was still alive. The boys, they run it like a business. Like George ran it like a business too, but he wanted to win. he knew that if you wanted to build championship teams, you had to spend money. And I'm not seeing that from Hal right now. I'm not seeing that. Hal is not his father. We got to get that.
No, he doesn't have the guts.
Hal is not his dad. He's not, he's not building championship teams. I don't think he even really cares.
No, he cares about what looks like me. He cares about one thing, and that's making money off the Yankee brand.
Like, he doesn't care. And you know what? And I made a comparison one time how the Steinbrenners are becoming the Maras, the family who owns the New York Giants. But at least now that I look about it, like, listen, the Maras, I've criticized them a lot when I talk about the Giants. I've criticized them a lot. But you know what? There are times they have no idea what the hell they're doing. But you know what? At least they actually seem like they care. They actually care about building a good club and about building a good team. At least they seem like they care.
Yeah, apparently Hal Steinbrenner said today he's keeping Boone. Boone is a, quote, good manager.
Are you looking at the same team I am, Hal Steinbrenner? Like, Rifkin, this guy is just an idiot, and that's being too nice.
Well,
this guy has no idea not only does he know what he's doing. Listen, like what I said about the Maras, they don't know what they're doing, but at least they care. Like, I think Hal Steinbrenner knows what he's doing, but he just doesn't care. And I honestly think that's worse when you know what you're doing, but you just don't care. I hope your father is coming to haunt you tonight, Hal. I hope your father's coming to haunt you tonight.
Yeah, it's very.
And your brother too. I hope they're both coming to haunt you.
I hope the boogeyman's coming to get you.
Frickin' Hal Steinbrenner.
Nah.
But okay, because we do have some other stuff we got to cover. All right, Mike. You said you were gonna say something about the roster.
Oh, all right. So this is from SNY's Andy Martino saying today, more than one player has told his agent this week that playing at Yankee Stadium last weekend was an unusually brutal experience. It was hard to believe for many teammates that fans booed Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is a free agent, of course. So let's dive into what changes on this roster.
Okay, to be honest, I've been for a lot of the season. If you listen to the podcast or see me here, I've been saying give Judge his money, give him his money. But now I'm kind of skeptical. Like, do we give him the money? Like, I would give him the original deal. If he wants a little more, okay, give that little more. But if he wants more money than God, then maybe he go bye-bye.
I think you have to pay him.
I think you got to pay him too. But, it's also...
See, the money's not the part that bothers me.
It's the performance.
No. It'd be the term of the contract.
Yes, because, like, here's the thing. He's 30 years old.
Right, but here's the bigger part. Like, he's 30, but you're locking him in, argument's sake, Stanton's locked in at what his deal is because you were nice enough to give Derek Jeter a freebie. But Stanton's your DH. He clearly can't play the field anymore. Whether it's refusal to play the field or it's just he's not comfortable anymore playing the field. He doesn't play the field. So now Judge has either got to play right field or this year he's played a lot of center field. So the number's going to start with a 3. So the question is going to be, are you willing to go 10 on him? I wouldn't give him 10. but are they not? Well, I think they're in a spot where they have to because he's the best player that they've developed, really leadership wise and everything else since Jeter.
Who's Stanton?
No, Judge.
Judge. Sorry.
I mean, Stanton was a Marlin, so no, Judge. I mean, that's why you got to pay Judge. But I mean, there are reports that the Dodgers have interest, the Giants have interest. By the way, if he goes to the Dodgers, we're gonna have a real problem, MLB, because they're already an all-star team.
So you say you got to pay him, and I say I'd pay him, but you got to look at the but you got to look at the because with the money, because this guy's going to be asking for more money than God. And
I think you got to go. I wouldn't go past 8 years, but if you can get him for eight for 324,
that sounds reasonable.
I mean, unless someone outbids you, but I'll tell you this: I don't want to hear complaining from Yankee fans if they booed Judge and he leaves. If he leaves, it's on you.
But you also got to know that's what it's like being in for the Yankees in the postseason. But it's like I think I may have booed him. I don't exactly remember, but I will say I'm sorry. It's mob mentality, and you know what? That's the thing I think why a lot of people hate Yankee fans. And we were talking about that in the beginning of all this. And that was never mind. But the thing was, this was absolutely, yeah. But that's why I think people hate fans, because they boo their own players. So is Judge going to be back? I would like to see him back, and I hope they hit on an amount that they could pay him for. And you know what? I've been saying this. Agree or disagree, Rifkin. He comes back, you slap a C on his jersey.
If he's back, he's the captain. Yeah.
He is going to be captain. This guy, I think, is one of the best Yankees since Derek Jeter.
The question for me is, yeah, definitely if he's back, he's the captain. But I think the bigger question is he back? Like we all thought it was a foregone conclusion during the season. Now it's, I don't know. Like I got to tell you, I think there's a bunch of guys on this roster who I would consider moving on from. But
like Rizzo say he might opt out.
Yeah, but I think that's more of a money thing for him. Like if he would opt out, there'd be a lot of teams calling. But that's a fit. Like I'm not even a Yankee fan. I'd be done with Gleyber Torres.
Yeah.
To me, not consistent enough. IKF can go. IKF can go. Yeah, Hicks is dead weight. Donaldson's dead weight. I mean, he's not dead weight, but DJ LeMahieu, I would have never given him the 6 for 90. You gave him the extra year because Toronto was offering 5 and 100. So you gave him the extra year instead of the more money. So, but again, this roster is comprised of two things: young players and a lot of aging guys. Like if Rizzo stays, if Stanton's getting older, LeMahieu's getting older, Donaldson. So what do you want to do? Do you want to be young, fun, and exciting? Or do you want to be with the older guys?
Or you could at least put up, or, with that aging category, I hate to say this, you can even throw Judge in there in a way.
He's 30, 31. That's fair. I was leaving him off just because he's not he's not signed through next year.
But yeah, I would definitely get rid of Hicks. I would get rid of Donaldson. Donaldson's a pain in the you know what.
Oh, he was terrible.
And I'm not talking about that incident with Tim Anderson either. I did a vlog on that if you want to go check it out.
No, he didn't hit. He didn't have the year that they thought he would have. And look, I think they thought Urshela was an issue, but at least Urshela's going to give you the Gold Glove defense.
Oh, absolutely.
But
so this team, listen, Mike, this is going to be a busy offseason.
Yeah.
It's going to be a busy offseason.
Has to be.
And listen, Brian Cashman, who unfortunately Hal Steinbrenner said he's coming back, and Aaron Boone are unfortunately going to be back. Now you ask yourself the question, what's going to happen this season? Like, what's going to happen next season? What are the Yankees going to do? Like, there is talk, like, if Judge walks, maybe
if Judge walks, I'm not saying this to be facetious or funny. Like, if Judge walks, I would honestly consider. You can't say it's going to be a full on rebuild because of contracts they have out there, like LeMahieu, Cole, and Stanton. But the young guys are going to have to play. And you're going to have to find somebody to replace that bat in the worst way.
I heard Brandon Nimmo is.
Yeah, but if you're signing Nimmo, is he playing? But I get why they'd go after Nimmo. He's best center fielder on the market. But also they have Bader. So is Nimmo moving to a corner? Like that's something I would figure out. But Nimmo fits, but I think Nimmo's going to get paid by somebody. I've said this to the old ops guy. I don't view Nimmo as $100 million guy, but I think there's a team out there that'll give him $100 million.
So, yeah, but also there's talk, like, pitching wise, that the Yankees, like, let's say if Judge walks, that they could possibly be looking at Justin Verlander.
No, if the Astros win the World Series, either Verlander stays or he retires. Okay. And that's not a Verlander. I'm just saying, at 39 years old, winning the World Series, he's going to win the Cy Young. He's got nothing left to prove, and in 5 years, he's going to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame. But like, for me, if the Yankees are going to target a starting pitcher, and this really, I don't know how deep the market is, but you're looking at. I've heard people also bring up Jacob deGrom. All right.
I like deGrom, but I don't think he's going cross town.
I don't either. It's just, I get what they're trying to. I think what the Yankees really need to do is they have to go for it because of who they are, but they really need to they have to figure out what they are as a franchise. Like, are they going for it? Are they not going for it? Because if you let Judge walk, that changes the whole dynamic of this team. Even despite what I just said, you still have Stanton, LeMahieu, Cole under contract. So what else are you bringing in? What other what guy do you want? So to me, I don't know. I'm intrigued to see, because I think Judge puts a lot of pressure on them. But if they don't bring Judge back, then I'm curious to see what lane they go down.
Absolutely. And also, you got to look at what's going to happen with shortstop if they don't bring IKF back. Like, I think a few things they can look at are
Play Peraza
maybe bring up Volpe.
if he's ready. Give him a chance in spring training.
Also, people are talking about Carlos Correa, Trey Turner.
Okay. Here's the other reason why I never want to hear 2017 again. If you bring in Carlos Correa, who was synonymous with that team in Houston, I don't want to hear the complaints about 2017.
I think that's a fair assessment. Because, when I was at the game, of course, the crowd was chanting F Altuve. And, first time I was kind of getting into it, but after that, I'm like, you know what? This is kind of pointless at this point. It's kind of useless. This was 5 years ago. I think maybe we should stop chanting this now. But yeah, I know you can't stand hearing about 2017, but yeah, but that is the thing. What about Trey Turner, though?
Again, that's going to come down to the price. I love Trey Turner. I think he's a great player. I think they're going to have competition for him. I think there's going to be, although I've heard he prefers the East Coast. He wants to do spring training in Florida instead of Arizona. So they'd have a shot, but I think a couple of teams have shots there on Trey Turner. I wouldn't be shocked if the Phillies made a play on Trey Turner. Wouldn't be shocked if the Cardinals made a play on Trey Turner. If he's willing to play second base, maybe the Mets take a shot at Trey Turner. I don't know.
So,
maybe even the Twins replace Correa with Trey Turner.
It'd be hilarious. Or also, Mike, also with pitching, you know what? I'm also hearing about them possibly stealing your closer.
Yeah, I don't see that one because if Steve Cohen wants Edwin Diaz to stay, Edwin Diaz is going to stay. I think that is the one guy that I can confidently say the Mets will bring back is Edwin Diaz.
Yeah. So, that's our...
They can bring back Tattoo Man if they really wanted to.
Chapman. So, yeah, that's our... All right, so those are our thoughts on the 2022 LCS and where the Yankees should go from here. If you like what you see, and why wouldn't you? Because isn't this content amazing?
It might be. I don't know.
Go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Twitter. And here on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. I'm Bill Murphy from Murphy's View. Mike, thank you so much for joining me today.
Not a problem.
And we will catch you guys on the flip side. So stay safe and take care.